Needs to go. Joining me right now, Republican Congressman Andy Biggs of Arizona. All right, Congressman, why does he need to be shown the exit door in your view?
Well, first of all, let's leave the ethics allegations aside, even though that may be enough for him to have to go. But let's talk about the fact that claim denials are still high. The appeals process is still long. The epicenter of the actual scandal that began is in Phoenix. We're not seeing the kind of improvement there that we need to see. I still get veterans coming in who need services. I can't get communication from the secretary or his office. He won't see me, but somehow he gets to Europe. We've got a lot of problems that he's not willing to address. I think there's a culture that needs to be changed, and the best place to start is with a change at the top, and then we can get to the whole culture and just clean out those who shouldn't be there, helping our veterans.
So it's not working the way it should, in your view, and he's not doing enough of a job there. If he's not accessible to you or other lawmakers, but can somehow find himself on a plane to Europe, then you got kind of a problem.
Yes, real problems with that.
This is part of the overall issue, right, with government, and it's this issue of accountability because, look, in the market, if a CEO is not performing well, the stock trades down, and it's pretty obvious. But in government, it's a little bit more challenging. What kind of metrics do you think we should be using when we look at his department and at his job performance?
Well, I think you need to be looking at outcomes and results, such as, let's see, are the claims being processed quickly? Whether it's denial or whether it's an acceptance of a claim, they need to be done in a timely fashion. Are we delivering services? I mean, you have veterans who have a 30-day supply of medication, but for a renewal, they need to get approval, and it might take them 3, 4, 5 months to get in to see a doctor for an additional renewal of that prescription. So these metrics of outcomes, what are the services? I mean, it's a service organization. So all those metrics need to be derived from how they're providing services, the timeliness and efficiency of those services.
Any idea who could do the job?
I've heard Rick Perry. I've heard one of your colleagues. I don't want to speculate too much, but
I think I heard that one too, Pete.
Yeah, Pete. That's exactly right. I think either one of those people can provide a great leadership. I think leadership needs to come from outside. Shulkin came from inside. I think someone from outside is going to be able to bring a fresh look and clean it out and deliver the services the veterans need.
Let me ask you about the other big topic today, and that's tariffs. It makes some economists quite nervous. We just had a free trade guy on from Cato saying he didn't like any of this, and he thought ultimately the American consumer would be paying the price and American jobs would be lost as a result of tariffs, specifically targeted at China. Can we handle a trade war right now? Are we already in one?
We may already be in a trade war, and I will just tell you about tariffs. Just remember, we already have thousands of tariffs on the books. What made America great, we actually had tariffs in position for 70, 80 years when Republicans actually had the presidency for almost all of those 70 or 80 years, and we grew. But having said that, there are a lot of unintended consequences that may raise, such as consumer price increases. And what's the cost of government? Because if we have to spend more, for instance, to produce, say, an Apache helicopter or a tank, we're going to eat that cost as American taxpayers. You have to be very careful. I think they should be targeted if you're going to do that, and be very specific how you're going to address those.
I kind of think we should go all around the world right now and look at every single trade agreement we have and say, is this fair? Okay, it's fair. If it's not fair, let's fix it. And yes, if we have to exert some economic pressure on the likes of China or India to get it fixed, so be it, because we import more of their goods than anyone else in the world. And you probably want to make nice with your biggest customer.
Well, that's absolutely right. I mean, look at South Korea and Japan, say Germany, China. All these have had high tariffs historically against the United States, and we've had a tremendous trade imbalance with them. We need to make sure that we have bilateral trade agreements that are fair. And I think the whole impetus between President Trump saying we need to revisit NAFTA, for instance. We need to make sure America gets a fair deal. We shouldn't be transferring wealth elsewhere, even though we're importing wealth too.
I think it's really refreshing because for so long corporate interests have been what has been represented there in Washington, and now we're starting to see a shift, and it's about time. Anyway, Congressman, thank you very much. It's good to see you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Good to see you again.
All right.